Hello. President Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency, which is run by Elon Musk and referred to as DOGE or DOGE, is now asking the public to direct message the agency with insights on finding and fixing waste, fraud, and abuse relating to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Now, we welcome the DOGE's focus on the USDA and encourage listeners to provide their insights. And at the end of this segment, I'll provide the address you can use to send your direct message to DOGE. Now, we've long argued that the Beef Checkoff program, which is a mandatory USDA program that requires cattle producers to pay $1 for every head of cattle they sell, and it collects about $70 million each year, much of that from producers who do not support the mandatory government program. And while the Beef Checkoff program is supposed to fund education, promotion, and research for beef, and not fund lobbying, evidence of abuse has surfaced. An independent audit report found that $216,000 of mandatory producer contributions had been misspent. And not long ago, we filed a lawsuit alleging that the Beef Checkoff program was violating the constitutional rights of independent cattle producers by compelling them to subsidize private speech that they disagreed with. The magistrate judge in the case found that our allegations were likely true and that the Beef Checkoff program was operating inconsistent with the U.S. Constitution. Now, in response, the USDA immediately entered contracts with the Beef Checkoff program's state beef councils, giving the USDA complete authority over every word and every message expressed under the mandatory Beef Checkoff program. And the effect of these contracts was to convert what was private speech into government speech. And this ostensibly corrected the USDA's decades-long constitutional violation. Now, we have a second lawsuit pending that alleges the USDA entered these contracts unlawfully, which deprived the public any opportunity to better protect the rights of individual cattle producers. But while our lawsuit is making its way through the court, the USDA continues to employ staff to oversee and manage every word and every message conveyed by the $70 million mandatory program. Now, this is wasteful. Why is the USDA managing the speech of a government-mandated program that forces every cattle producer to pay while allowing recipients of the mandatory funds to lobby against such important policy initiatives as mandatory country of origin labeling, or MCOOL, that would benefit cattle producers and consumers alike by requiring all beef sold in grocery stores to be labeled as to its country of origin? So the Beef Checkoff program is at the top of our list for USDA programs that are wasteful and rife with abuse. Second on the list is the USDA's new mandate requiring cattle producers to affix costly electronic identification, or EID, ear tags on adult cattle shipped across state lines. The USDA claims the mandate will cost cattle producers tens of millions of dollars each year, and because the cost was so high, the USDA went to Congress and secured a $15 million appropriation that USDA tried to use to purchase enough EID ear tags to assuage the cost concerns that independent cattle producers had expressed. But the $15 million taxpayer appropriated fund wasn't enough, and producers are now being forced to pay for the most expensive form of animal identification on the market today. So why is Congress appropriating money to the USDA to purchase expensive EID ear tags, including from foreign EID ear tag manufacturers, when the much less expensive and U.S.-made animal identification devices already in use throughout the U.S. have proven effective in meeting the disease traceback needs of animal health officials? This, too, is an example of a wasteful and unnecessary USDA mandate. So those are the top two items we hope DOGE will focus on and eliminate in order to put an end to the waste, fraud, and abuse occurring in the USDA's Beef Checkoff program and its EID ear tag mandate. And while these are the two programs on our offense list, there is a USDA initiative that we need to defend because we know the concentrated meat packer lobby is working hard to derail it. This initiative, of course, is the rulemaking effort the previous administration began to implement and enforce the over 100-year-old Packers and Stockyards Act. Now, we view these rulemakings as critical if we are to restore competition to our industry's fed cattle market and put an end to the abusive and harmful cattle procurement practices emanating from the highly concentrated fed cattle market. We want the Trump administration to follow through with the Packers and Stockyards Act rulemakings to balance the disparate bargaining power between widely disaggregated independent cattle producers and the highly concentrated global meat packers who buy their cattle. So to provide your insights to DOGE, send an email to the House DOGE caucus at doge@mail.house.gov. That's doge@mail.house.gov. With that, have a productive week. I'm Bill Bullard with RCAF USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the United States of America. Thank you and goodbye.